I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen. We're having a brunch down at our clubhouse tomorrow. We're expecting about 45 guests, and I'm one of the ones helping to prepare food. One of the things I'm going to make is a sour cream coffee cake. And it's from a recipe that my mother-in-law gave me over 60 years ago. So you know it's a tried and true favorite. And I wrote the recipe in what really is my very first cookbook. There's the very first recipe, which as you can see is well used and worn. Fortunately, I don't have to refer to it anymore. It was for my mother-in-law's spaghetti sauce. But of course, I also have here the recipe for this coffee cake I'm about to make. So here are the ingredients. I've got a ½ pound of butter in the mixer bowl with a cup of sugar. Ready to go in are 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I've got 3 eggs and a cup of sour cream. Now there's a filling that goes in this, and what it consists of is ½ a cup of chopped pecans, a scant ½ cup of mini chocolate chips, a ¼ cup of sugar, and a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. Let me add, I've got a bundt pan prepared. Even though it's non-stick, I have buttered and floured it, just to be safe. So before I go any further, I'm just gonna put all these in a bowl and give them a stir so that they're ready when I need to add them to the cake. And give these a stir, and we'll take the rest of the ingredients over to the mixer. We're going to start by creaming the butter and sugar. It'll just take a few minutes. And the reason it's going to take a few minutes is because I'm using a blade on the mixer that has this little rubber attachment. It's great. It means you don't have to stop every couple of minutes and scrape the bowl down. A wonderful accessory for your KitchenAid mixer. All right, now that that is mixed, I'm going to add the eggs and the sour cream. When I first met my husband, I had never heard of sour cream. Coming from Scotland in 1950, that was not an ingredient we had, and I couldn't imagine why anybody would want to use sour cream in anything. But of course, it's a great ingredient. So we're just going to give this a mix. Getting myself spattered with sour cream. All right, now I'll add my dry ingredients, the 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Just dump those right in there. This is not a fussy cake to make at all. Just start this slowly. Now that I'm finished, I am going to give the bowl just 1 scrape. Just make sure everything is mixed in, and it really does look good. Another spatula to scrape off my spatula. And I'll give this one final little whirl. And that's that. So now I'm ready to get it into my prepared pan. I should also mention I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. It's a good cake when you're feeding a crowd. Okay. Now I want to put about half of the batter sort of evenly into the pan. And just sort of spread this around. Maybe one more. Okay. It is quite a thick batter. It's not quite a pound cake texture, but a nice firm. Nothing like a sponge cake at all. Let's sort of make a little well here. Okay, and now I'm going to take my filling mixture, the pecans, the chocolate chips, and the sugar and cinnamon. I'm trying to get it fairly even so that no one gets a slice where they're deprived of any of the filling. There, that looks pretty good. And then I'll just top it with the rest of the cake batter. All right, once I've got all the batter in here, I'm just going to use a small spatula to even the batter out a little bit. Of course, you can use a regular tube pan, but I think the bundt pan does make a nice presentation. That looks pretty good. The oven will take care of the rest of it. And so that is going to go in the oven for an hour. Here we go. Just set my timer for 1 hour. I noticed around 45 minutes that my cake sort of smelled done, and I checked it with a cake tester, and sure enough it was done. Okay, part of the reason may have been that I'm using a dark pan. They do tend to bake a little quicker than light pans. It's a good thing though anytime you're baking or cooking. If something smells done, as a general rule, it is. So now I'll just set this aside to cool a little before turning it out onto a cake plate. A light dusting of powdered sugar is all it takes to finish off this terrific versatile cake. It keeps well for 2 or 3 days, easy to serve, and it's always a big hit. Enjoy. If you'd like to see more of my recipes, go to the website at bettyskitchenfare.com.